Hey guys, this is Austin. In front of me is the brand new 2018 15-inch MacBook Pro. Now with the new Core i9s inside, it promises to be the fastest MacBook ever, but with a $4,000 price tag, and that's not even the most expensive one, I'm curious, how fast is it really? This is the first time that you've been able to get anything more than a quad-core MacBook, well, pretty much ever. So across the line, you're going to be getting at least 6 cores on the new MacBooks. This guy is going to be the Core i9, which is going to be clocked a lot higher, but even the base model of the 15 is still going to be a 6-core Core i7. Something else new with this generation is going to be more memory. So previously, the MacBook Pro would top out at 16 gigs of RAM. A fair bit, but not really enough for a lot of creative professionals, whereas this guy, you can option it all the way up to 32 gigs of RAM. Finally. Wes! So Wes is currently using a Lenovo ThinkPad workstation. And even though they're actually about the same price, you can see there's a huge size difference. Dude, look how much smaller this is. Yeah. Like, that's like not even close. Another change is going to be with the SSD. So by default, this will come with a 256 gig drive. However, you can option it all the way up to a 4 terabyte SSD. The only issue is it's going to cost you $3,400. You know, you don't want to spend as much as a nice used car, well, I guess a somewhat nice used car as your SSD. There's your option. For real though, I mean, if you really need that extra space, by all means go for it. But as far as I'm concerned, a 1 terabyte SSD or even a 512 gig drive should be plenty. Unless you're on Ken Bolito's phone texting instead of running the camera. Oh wow, great, I've already got a beach ball. That's really wonderful. This system has been on for 35 seconds and it's already frozen and beach balling. Another new feature is going to be the Apple T2 chip inside. Now that's also going to be shared with the iMac Pro. Essentially, it's going to be like an iPhone processor that's dedicated to handling all of the background tasks of the laptop. So think about trains outside, your speakers, your webcam, and especially things like security issues like making sure that everything is correctly signed ahead of time. So to really see what this new MacBook is capable of, I have a couple of other laptops here to compare against. So first of all, I have a 2016 MacBook Pro. This is going to be the high end of that year, so we're getting the Core i7, 16 gigs of RAM, Radeon Pro 460 graphics, as well as a 1 terabyte SSD. To give you a good idea of what an equivalent Windows workstation is going to provide, we have a 2016 Lenovo P70. This guy is going to have a Xeon E3 1505, which is going to be a quad-core Skylake CPU, very similar to actually what's going to be in the 2016 MacBook. You're also going to be getting 32 gigabytes of RAM, a Quadro M4000, I almost said P, it's an M4000 GPU, as well as a 512 gigabyte NVMe SSD. And last but not least, we have the 2018 MacBook Pro. Now this is going to be maxed out with everything besides the SSD. The Core i9, 32 gigabytes of RAM, the Radeon Pro 560X. The only thing we're missing here is a 4 terabyte drive, but with 1 terabyte of capacity, the price difference between these three is actually only a couple $100. So let's see how fast the new MacBook really is. The first test we're going to be running is GEEKBENCH 4. Now this is going to be a pretty solid test of the CPU capabilities of all three of these laptops. Oh wow, whoa, that's so fast. Okay, so the Lenovo and the MacBook are very well matched. So single core is slightly ahead on the Lenovo, but multi-core is going to be a little bit behind. But the 2018 absolutely destroys them both with 5595 on single core and 24,765 on multi-core. That's fast. Of course, there's more to it than just CPU power though. So here we're going to be using the GEEKBENCH 4 compute test to give us a rough idea of what kind of graphics capability are going to be on all three of these laptops. So here the Lenovo definitely takes the win with a score of 79,000 compared to 58,000 with the 2018 MacBook and 49,000 with the 2016 MacBook. Now the graphics side is definitely going to be a big win for the Windows side just because you're going to be getting so many more options and so many more powerful cards available on a variety of Windows workstations. Next up we have Cinebench. Now this is going to be a little bit more of a multi-threaded workflow as it is basically going to be Cinema 4D just rendering a single test scene. And again, anything CPU related, the Core i9 MacBook is absolutely going to crush. Not only is it going to be a fair bit faster on the single core score, but even on the multi-thread with those extra 2 cores available, it is going to be seriously fast. Next up, we have the Aja speed test. This is going to be all about how fast the SSDs are in all three of these systems. Okay, that one's not particularly fair. So it looks like the Lenovo is using a SATA-based hard drive, which means that the read speed's topping out at less than 500 megabytes per second, and the read is only about 133. Compare that with the 2016, which is over 2 gigabytes per second on both read and write, and the 2018 model, which is actually going to clear 3 gigabytes per second on read and 2,700 megabytes per second on the write. Just like the iMac Pro, a lot of this speed has to do with the fact that it is using a T2 chip to handle all of the stuff, including actually running the SSD. So when it comes to writing and reading at almost 3 gigabytes per second, that's actually really cool. I've got to admit, that's really fast. Next up, let's put this all together and do a little bit more of a real-world comparison. So we have DaVinci Resolve running on all 3 of these systems. So we're starting out with some 7K red raw footage, which is then being heavily color corrected with power windows, and then it's going to be exported as a 4K H.264 file. Okay, so it looks like Resolve is definitely a big fan of the Core i9 on the 2018 MacBook. Here, the 18 MacBook is going to be a full minute faster than both the 2016 MacBook as well as the Lenovo P70. Now the P70 does have other advantages beyond pure performance. So not only is it going to run a fair bit cooler, if you take a look at the thermal shots I got on the MacBook, which is running pretty warm, especially on the keyboard area, compared to the Lenovo, it is a huge difference. But on top of that, the Lenovo has a bigger 4K display and, actual ports, which is kind of helpful when, you're doing video or anything that's not using USB-C. So conclusion time. If you pick up the $7,000 SKU of the MacBook Pro with a 4TB drive, it's not going to perform any better. But if you're looking for a system that is going to give you a ton of power and a pretty small and thin form factor, I've got to say, this actually is a lot faster than I was expecting.